The snap-tight assembly system locks end channels to all sheets without the need for tools or fasteners. To assemble each panel, the perimeter channels are secured to the top and bottom of each sheet. Gently tap the channel over the snap-tight lugs and work your way along the sheet. Each channel should be fit to the center of each sheet. Simply tap the channel along until it's aligned. Let's get started with the rear panel. To construct the rear panel, we're going to need one 81F channel, one 53C channel, and two 43B sheets. The part numbers are printed onto the parts for easy identification. Starting off, take one of the 43B sheets and flip it around. We want this sheet to overlap the other by one rib and have the center holes align. Once your center holes line up, get two 10mm self-tapping screws and screw the sheets together. Now that your screws are in, take channel 53C and attach it to the top of the sheets using the snap-tight method. The channel will need to have the short side facing towards the outside of the panel. Repeat the process for channel 81F, attaching it to the bottom of our sheets. That completes our rear panel assembly. We'll move on to the side panels now. We're going to work on the left side panel first. For this, we're going to need one 61B channel, one 81J channel, one 80A channel, and the X2R sheet. To start, take the 80A channel and place it underneath the X2R sheet. Orientate it under the side with 4 screw holes along the rib. The short side of the channel will need to face towards the outside. Once the holes are aligned, take 4 10mm self-tapping screws and fasten the 80A channel to the underside of the X2R sheet. Now that the screws are in, we'll attach the 61B channel to the angled end of the sheet using the snap-tight method, making sure that the short side is facing outwards. Repeat the process for the bottom using channel 81J. This will complete our left side panel. Moving on to the right side panel now, we'll need one 61B channel, one 81J channel, and the X4L sheet. Attach the 61B channel to the angled end of the sheet using the snap-tight method. Remember to keep the short face of the channel to the outside. Repeat the process again for the 81J channel, snapping it onto the bottom end of the sheet. That's both of our side panels complete. It's now time to construct the roof panel. To construct the roof panel, we're going to need two 88B lips, two 81E channels, and two 43D sheets. Take one 43D sheet and orientate it so that it overlaps the other 43D sheet by one rib, and then make sure the 3 screw holes line up. Use 3 10mm self-tapping screws to fix the sheets together. We're going to attach one of our 81E channels to the long edge of our joined sheets using the snap type method. Don't forget to keep the short edge of the channel facing towards the outside of our sheets. Get the other 81E channel and repeat the process for the other edge of the sheets. We'll attach our lips now. Take one of the 88B lips. This will go on the side of our roof panel. The lip will go over the channels and align with the pre-punched holes in the sheet. Fasten the lip to the sheet using 3 10mm self-tapping screws. Repeat the process for the remaining lip, attaching it to the other end of the sheet. This will complete our roof panel assembly. This completes our roof panel. Let's move on to our front panel assembly now. To construct the front panel, we'll need one 90C jamb, one 89A jamb, one 89B jamb, one 53A channel, one 53B channel, one 79C channel, and the 34A sheet. The first thing we need to do is orientate ourselves. If you look at the 34A sheet, you'll notice that one pan is narrower than the rest. This will be next to the door opening when finished. Take note on how this sheet is positioned in the video because it is important that the channels and jambs are attached to the correct sides. Take the 53A channel and attach it to the top of the sheet using the snap type method. There are 2 holes in the center of our channel. Make sure the hole furthest away from the door space is aligned to the 34A sheet. We'll need the other one later on. We'll repeat this process again using the 53B channel, this time attaching it to the bottom of our sheet using the snap type method. Again, make sure that you've got the correct hole in the channel aligned with the 34A sheet hole. Next, we're going to attach the 89A jamb to the left side of the sheet. This can be a little tricky, so pay attention on how the jamb slides into the top and bottom channels. Put the jamb so it's overlapping the sheet and aligns with the holes in the top and the bottom channels. Using 4 of the 10mm self-tapping screws, secure the jamb to the sheet. Take the 89B jamb and attach it to the other end of the channels. This will create our doorway. Note that the way the jamb orientates with the channel and fasten using 2 of the longer 20mm self-tapping screws. We've nearly finished the doorway. Take the 90C jamb and slide it into the 53A channel at the top. Once this is placed correctly into the channel, fasten using 3 of the 10mm self-tapping screws. Next, we'll place the 79C channel at the bottom. The short side will face outwards, and the longer side will be inside the bottom channel. Fasten with 3 10mm self-tapping screws. The last step will be to turn the front panel over and use a 10mm self-tapping screw in each corner of the doorway. Our front panel is now complete. We'll construct our door panel next. To construct the door panel, we'll need one pad bolt, one door plate, one 58A channel, one 58B channel, two 58C channels, two 91A jambs, and the B sheet. Start by orientating your sheet. We have ours orientated so the holes for the lock are on the left side of the screen. Take one of the 58C channels and attach it to the top of the panel using the snap type method. Repeat this process for the other 58C channel, attaching it to the bottom of the sheet. Next, take the 58A channel, it's the one with the hinges. Attach it to the right side of the panel. For this channel, we'll need the long side of the channel facing outside. Slide it underneath the 58C channels at the top and bottom. You'll know you've got the channel in the right position if the hinges fold upwards. Repeat this for the 58B channel. Remember to put the long side of the channel facing towards the outside. Now that the channels are on, secure the corners using 4 of the 10mm self-tapping screws. Now that that's done, do the remaining holes in the channel using 6 more screws. Make sure they align with the holes in the sheet underneath it. Flip the panel over and use 4 more screws to secure the back of the channels. While our panel is turned over, we'll attach the door bracing. Take one of the 91A jambs and align its holes with a diagonal row of holes in the sheet. Both ends of the jamb will slide underneath the channels. Once aligned, use a screw at either end of the jamb. Do this from the underside of the sheet. This will hold our jamb in place so we can flip the sheet over and more easily do the rest of the screws. Repeat this process for the other jamb, ensuring it's aligned with the diagonal row of punched holes. Now that the jambs are held in place, flip the panel over again and use 6 screws to finish securing the jambs to the sheet. Next, we'll need the door plate. Place it over the holes on the left side of the sheet. Once aligned, fasten using 2 screws into the holes furthest from the edge. Get the pad bolt and place on the door plate. Align the 4 holes and then fasten with 4 10mm self-tapping screws. With our door panel complete, it's time to attach it to the front panel. Place the front panel so you have access to the holes for the hinges. Use the 3mm drill bit to clear the sheeting that sits behind these holes. Place the door panel over the front panel in the open position and unfold the hinges. Make sure that these align with the holes in the front panel. Once aligned, use a pop riveter to fasten the door hinges to the front panel. You'll need to use 6 pop rivets to secure the door. Test your door opens and closes smoothly. We've now finished our door panel and attached it to the front panel. The last step is our final assembly. Let's put it all together. To start the final assembly, stand up the front panel. A trick you can use is to open the door and use it as a stand. Just be careful if there's any wind though, but it's definitely easier to get a friend to help you. We'll attach the right side panel first. If you look at the top and bottom channels of the front panel, you'll see that there's a cutout or notch at the end. This is for the side panel to sit in. Position the panel and check that the corner holes in both sheets line up. Use 4 10mm self-tapping screws to fasten the front and right side panel together. Next, we'll be attaching the left side panel to the front panel. Firstly, we're going to need to back out the longer 20mm screws at the top and bottom of the front panel, but don't take them all the way out. Now take the left side panel and align it with the front. Use the longer screws we just backed out to secure the panels together at the top and bottom. Now it's fixed at the top and bottom, we'll need 2 more of the 20mm self-tapping screws for the remaining holes. Next, we'll be attaching the rear panel. Align the rear and left side panels the same way we did earlier, sliding the left side panel into the notch of the rear channels. Make sure the holes along the edge of the 2 sheets are aligned. Secure the 2 panels using 4 of the 10mm self-tapping screws. Repeat the process for the other side of the rear panel using 4 of the 10mm self-tapping screws. Now the walls are done, the last panel is the roof. Look inside and square up the shed base. This is the best way to get all the holes in the roof panel to line up with the ones in the top of the wall. Place the roof panel on the top of the shed. Make sure the lips are overhanging the side walls. Now the roof's in place, go and get a ladder. Align the 4 back holes in the roof panel with the holes in the rear wall channel. Start in one corner and work your way across, fastening with 10mm self-tapping screws. Do this again for the holes at the front of the roof panel. To finish off the roof panel, we'll need to fix through the lips on either side of the shed using 4 of the 10mm self-tapping screws. The last step of the assembly is to attach the pad bolt hasp onto the front of the shed. Center the hasp over the pad bolt shaft and use the 3mm drill bit as shown. Finish with two 20mm self-tapping screws. Now the shed is complete, any leftover holes can be finished off with a screw.